Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Living a Graceful Life. I feel like I haven't been here in a while. It's been 3 weeks. One of the weeks, my mom did an interview with Carolyn Stein, which was wonderful. If you get a chance to watch that recording, this woman is incredible. Uh, just amazing, amazing story, amazing woman, worth watching. And then for 2 weeks, one week was took the week off for the holiday, and then last week my internet was not working, so I couldn't get the show on. And I decided to pick the topic of gratitude, which I was actually going to do last week, because it was the holiday week and the week of Thanksgiving, and I was giving thanks and gratitude. So grateful to Denise Medved, well, for Ageless Grace, as well as for this amazing show. I want to read the definition of gratitude because I got an article from a student of mine, wonderful lady, and I had planned on doing gratitude as well for my topic in my wellness group on Saturday. She couldn't make it to the wellness group, but we actually didn't have enough people due to the holiday, so we ended up taking a few of the ladies to coffee with us instead, which was wonderful. And she gave me this beautiful article about gratitude. Gratitude, it's the quality of being thankful and the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. So the readiness to show appreciation for kindness and to return the kindness. And I think that when I was in my stages in my life of healing, I'm always in the stage of healing, but in the initial ones when I was not having my getting, detoxing and getting rid from my substance abuses, I used to listen to, I can't even tell you how many videos on gratitude. I would listen to Denzel Washington, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Harvey, Wayne Dyer, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. I used to listen to compilations, motivational compilations on gratitude. And I really got in my brain the benefits and the understanding of what it was like to feel grateful. And then my mom and I started doing a gratitude practice. So every morning, or sometimes if we're busy in the morning, we'll call each other in the afternoon. We say three things that we're grateful for. And usually it's a lot more than three things, but that's what we start with. So I think about, it's a lot of times it is like similar things, of course, her and the little birds that we have and, my life and just waking up in the morning and all of those things. But sometimes things will come into life that are unexpected and a nice surprise, a wonderful surprise. And this Thanksgiving has been traditionally was my sister's favorite holiday before she passed away. So for the last 7 years, I get myself in a funk and get all down and and feeling blue. But this year it started a little bit, just a little bit, and then I just changed my brain and I thought, I would rather just be grateful for the 47 years I wasn't, she was 47, it wasn't, she passed, but for all the time that I spent with her, for all the wonderful Thanksgiving I had with her, all the wonderful years my mom and I had with her. And as the day progressed, we went to my uncle's, which I was dreading. Sometimes it can be prickly. It's, a family. I don't need to say more. It was wonderful. I changed my brain on the way there. I'd been dreading it earlier, and I just said, I'm going to have a wonderful time, be with my uncle and aunt, my cousins. They live in a paradise with every kind of animal, including horses. And I changed it. And this is the first holiday since my sister passed 7 years ago that I have felt truly, truly grateful and truly peaceful. My brain, our precious brain, when we feel gratitude, we don't have the room to feel anything else. The sadness isn't there, the disappointment, the confusion, it's just gratitude. And I think that that's why I wanted to do this. I could go on forever about the things I'm grateful for, but I know that I'm grateful to be here. And when I say to be here, like literally to be here, I'm so grateful. I was speaking with a woman today after my class. She's become a friend and she lost her only son, and very, very tragically and sadly. And she's the most grateful, humble, brilliant, beautiful woman. And she kind of tells me things maybe that I need to hear, like, I'll say, when I start, like, feeling a little sorry for myself, and then I think about what she's been through. And she was telling me that she feels slightly down right now because in December, December 12th is her birthday, and then the next week is her son that passed, her only son. But she said, but she's so grateful for the time that she spent with him, and she really started telling me all the things that she was grateful for. She's a nurse that's been helping people in prisons and in the prison system, and she's an inspiration. And I think that, the universe and God keeps putting these people around me, and I really believe that so that I can understand that I'm not the only person that's ever had some stuff happen to me. I'm not the only person, I felt like I got dealt a bad hand. I'm still sitting here, so I didn't get dealt that bad of a hand. And I told her something, my friend today, and I really feel this way. I heard a video on gratitude from Steve Harvey right when I started this journey, I would say probably 4 years ago, when I was really trying to stop gambling and just desperate. And he said something that resonated with me, and I think about it often. He said, 100%, 100 out of 100 things that have happened to us have not ended our existence. We are still here. So we're batting 100. We are batting 100 out of 100. Whatever circumstances have happened, whatever has tried to bring us down or change or alter our heart and our mind and our spirit has not succeeded because we are here. So that's when I think about this is a bad day, whatever it is, not today. If a situation happens to me, I tell myself, this is a rough day in a beautiful life. And as long as I keep saying that, then it is just a rough patch in a beautiful life. And I mean that. I really, really mean that. I'm so grateful for all the things that have happened, believe it or not, that have brought me here. I was telling my mom today before I started the class because I had something happen. We have experiences and there's not a coincidence, and it's preordained. So last week the internet was out and a friend of mine sent me a video. It's this gentleman named Michael Jr. and he's a comedian, but he's a philanthropist. He's a person that helps the community. He's a purposeful man, wonderful man, spiritual man. And when I looked at originally at the special that she's in, she said, "Oh, Tracy, I laughed so hard. It was so wonderful." And it had so much meaning. And I thought, oh, it's over an hour. An hour. Imagine in my life when I used to gamble, I could sit in front of that crack pipe because that's what it was, like casino machine for 8 hours. And it was like no time, but so our cable was out, our internet was out, and my phone somehow I got it to work, an iPhone, what a technological genius I am. So somehow I got it to work. And when I say that, I'm being completely facetious. I'm learning. I don't want to say bad words. I'm learning how to deal with technology. And somehow I got the video to work, and my mom and I watched it. Firstly, we laughed. I mean, we laughed, and it was on my little phone or watching it in our room. But the messages behind it and the people that he helped and the things that he did were so wonderful. And it touched me so much. And every day since then, I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking about him. And I keep thinking, I know, and I told my mom this today, I know there's something that I need to do. I know there's something I have to do. I just can't put it into words. I know I have to help people. I know that going through, 5 substance abuses and coming out on the other end, I know there's people, many, many people, and I met a lot of them when I gambled, that are really in a dark place, in a dangerously dark place. And if they could know, my story and know that there is hope and if we put our mind to it, we can literally, literally, literally do anything. I want to continue. I will need to find a way that I can do this because much as, I mean, I just want to help people, but I know there's something like what he does. I know there's something I can do in that way where I can just really get to a point where I can just help people knowing. And I think for me that the more that I think about it, it is to do with my substance abuse because to have 5 and then have healed them in my way. I tried the 12-step meetings, I tried brain balance and therapy. I had to do it my way. I had to find my relationship with God. I had to heal my relationship with my mom. I had to do There were things I believe that those 2 things first and foremost are what saved me. but I also had to put a lot of nourishment in my brain every single day, every day. Just like how we feed our body, we have to feed our brain. I had to feed my brain positive affirmations, positive videos, thinking about, changing those pathways in my brain that were so sad and so, harmed. They were harmed. And the only thing I thought that could make me feel better was to go to a smoky, drinky casino full of people that I can't even I can't even describe. And it's not even to be not to backbite or to be mean, because 'cause they're suffering too, but I just don't wanna be in that environment ever again, and I to pull myself out of it 3 years ago 3 years and a month ago, and to be where I am today is a miracle. It's a miracle, but it took a lot of work. I mean, it's a miracle with a lot of work added to it. I believe there's like a formula, like a healing formula, and I think it's just finding something. When I found these videos, when I found Wayne Dyer, I'd always listened to him throughout my life here and there, but I would listen to him for 6, 7 hours. I would drive in the car and listen. I memorized some of his, the 5 lessons to live by, and I would say to myself, people are going around the world. I'm going around the world looking for reasons to be offended. Stop being offended. I would tell myself, stop it. I would listen to him say there are no justified resentments here. He would go into groups of people dealing with substance abuse and tell them there are no justified resentments there. And I was having so many justified resentments. Well, this happened to me, and this is why I'm doing this, and this is why I go gamble every day, until I finally realized it's nobody making me do that but me. Nobody, not anybody, not any of my exes, not my mom, not a friend that blew me off. Nobody, nobody, not a cranky student in a memory care. I mean, I would get, I work in memory cares, and somebody would say, memory care is an interesting place because people just say what's on their mind. So I remember one day, this is like 4 years ago, I had a woman say, "You're too fat to teach exercise." I was so hurt, and I went to the casino instead of thinking, you know what she did. This is it's crazy, but the human heart and the human brain, and somebody like me that's so sensitive, and so hurt easily was like, well, I guess, and that was when I was heavier and not taking good care of myself because I was gambling every day and eating pizza and fried rice and whatever the casino had. After I'd lost every penny to my name, they would give me a free meal. Isn't that nice? So, and you can imagine what it was, croissants and cookies and so going through everything that's happened, I I turn now to gratitude. And some of the things that I wrote down, a couple of things from the article, they did a test, a Harvard test, where they had people write down for 40 days a gratitude journal. And I wrote down a couple of the things that happened from the study. So they wrote the gratitude journal for 40 days. Parts of their brain, their prefrontal cortex, became bigger. It literally became bigger from writing down for 40 days a gratitude journal. Their brains changed, executive performance, improved their executive performance, problem solving, reasoning, creativity, and physically it lowered blood pressure and lowered the risk of heart disease, helped with happiness and reduced stress. So that was from keeping a gratitude journal. So I write down what I'm grateful for. I say what I'm grateful for. I feel it. I'll be driving in the car, and I don't know if it's a prayer or maybe it's part prayer or part feeling so grateful, but I'll talk about it out loud, what I'm grateful for. And I'll look around. I never, before these last 4 years, had noticed nature like I do now. Just going outside, seeing swans and squirrels, and it's magical. It's absolutely magical. And because I'm here in my life, I'm present in my life. And that's why I feel so grateful. I feel that this journey, I know I don't know even how to put it into words, but I know there's something that I need to do. And I just figured it out. And I know it sounds weird, and I can't even explain it. I was trying to explain it to my mom. And I love what I do. I love teaching Ageless Grace. I feel so fulfilled and happy, and it's such a positive experience. And I love the wellness group that we do and the show and, just anything else that comes along. But I know there's something that I can do to help people that have suffered, because if anybody on here has had a loved one or they have suffered themselves with substance abuse, it's a dark, sad place. and I lived it for so many years. And when you live it for so many years, it doesn't seem possible that you're going to come away from it, that it's just going to be perpetual until your life ends. Unfortunately, because that's exactly how I felt. My last year of gambling was the worst year of my life, even worse than, believe it or not, than when my sister passed, because it was 4 years after she passed and I was still in the exact same place I was when she passed. Not one thing, not, and I had tried the brain balance, Gamblers Anonymous meetings, many meetings, going to mini conferences for Gamblers Anonymous, therapy that was provided to me by Gamblers Anonymous. I had a sponsor. I felt like there was just no, I was just one of these people that was just going to gamble until I drove my car into into a wall or off a bridge. And then something happened, and a lot of prayer, definitely a lot of prayer, which has been just, really has been life changing. But finding the things that I was grateful for, instead of being so fixated on my past, I started looking at the future. I started thinking, well, it would be nice to start dating somebody, for the first time in 7 years. I've been single for almost 8 years. Believe me, happily, and my choice. It's just because all of the years that I was with these horrible men, and they were horrible, all of them, I didn't care about myself. I didn't love myself. I certainly wasn't grateful. And they weren't grateful. They were not grateful human beings. They were not spiritual or evolved. So I know that God, the universe, all of the above is going to help me with the man that is supposed to be in my life, the man that is going to go to a yoga class with me, that's going to go to a meditation with me, that's going to talk about the things that matter, that will listen to gratitude videos with me, and that will talk about how we can help other people together, separately. Um, you know, I have friends in my life that are couples like that, and I love it. I love to see them be better because of each other. They make each other better. They want to be better because of each other. They don't put each other down. They don't terrorize each other. They don't call each other names. They just love each other, support each other. And I know there are good men out there. I know there are. Just I have to be good so that I can attract that, so that I can find that and bring that into my world. And I wrote a couple other things down about gratitude. One of the things about gratitude is it is said to be the highest level of thought, the highest level of thought. So it's that powerful that it kind of supersedes anything. It makes us, it makes us on a time, it says, facing difficulties with an open heart, choosing a better way of living despite our difficulties. When I was in Gamblers Anonymous meetings, I they would talk about gratitude. Some of the people would, when they would say our name, we were supposed to say our name, and we would say, I'm a compulsive gambler. Only I wouldn't say that. And I wouldn't say that because I'd already started working with the brain. So I knew that continuing to say those words were not healthy for me. So I would just say my name and the date that I had stopped gambling. And there were people that would say, hi, I'm such and such, and I'm a grateful compulsive gambler. And I would try to explain to them that the brain gets confused when you do that because we're not grateful compulsive gamblers. I certainly wasn't. I'm a person that's healing. I would rather just stand up and say, my name's Tracy. I'm a person that's healing and getting well, because the brain listens to that. And the brain listens to every single thing. We have pathways in our brain. And I know for a fact that I've changed them. 10 years ago, I stopped doing drugs. 3 years ago, I stopped gambling. 10 years ago, I stopped being bulimic. 3 years ago, I stopped smoking cigarettes. All of these things, I was an excessive drinker, excessive. Stopped doing that 3 years ago. I have an occasional vodka and club soda, but I mean occasional, one a month. So I know, and my food has changed. My food has changed. I am so grateful, and I'm not going to go on a whole carnivore tangent because I think I'm making everyone crazy. But I'm so grateful that we discovered the carnivore food plan. I've never felt better. I've never felt better, and I contribute my mental well-being to the carnivore, to the meat, to the fat in the meat, to the fat that's going into my brain. I know that it was put in, it was just a weird occurrence that happened that I discovered it. We were watching some videos on, it's a video called The Lies That Doctors Have Told Us in Medical School. And then it somehow morphed into carnivore. And I've been on this journey with my mom. I'm so grateful for my mom. And my mom gives me an opportunity to see somebody change right in front of me, right in front of me. She's changed so many things. And I know as life happens, we get in patterns and we get in habits. So I don't want to say older, but it's harder as we go along. You know, it just is harder to make these changes. But to see her do it, it just reinforces to me that we can change anything at any time on any on you know in on any given day. We can make the decision to change something. I used to wake up every day of my life and I would say, today I'm never going to gamble again, and then I would go and pawn some jewelry and end up at a casino. When I was back in the days of doing substances and doing drugs, I would say every single day, I'm never going to do this again. But then there came a day that I said it and it stuck, and I did all the actions that I needed to do. I made the commitment to do it because it's a commitment. It's not just a commitment to other people, because that's a part of it, but we have to say to ourselves, whatever it is, whatever it is, I need to change it. It's not easy for me not to eat sugar and carbs. It's not. I love them. I enjoy them. I've eaten them most of my life. I like to enjoy things, that are sweet, but I know that it's not good for me. I know it's not good for my brain. I know it's not good for my body. And the more research that I'm doing, I just know it's better for me not to eat sugar and carbs and ultra processed things in order to live a life that is the life that I want to live. Is the life that I believe I deserve it. I believe that I deserve to live a life where I wake up in the morning and feel amazing at 6 a.m., 5:30, 6 o'clock, go to bed at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock. I feel like $1 million. And I said this to my mom, and it's the truth. I believe so strongly in changing our pathways in our brain. If somebody gave me $1 million today and said, I'd like you to go to a casino with me, and here, I would turn it down. I'm not lying. I'm not exaggerating. That's how strong I feel about the fact that it would end my life. I don't care about money. Money has never done anything but truthfully show me greedy sides of things that have not been comfortable for me. I want to live a minimalist life where I can help people in any way that I can. That if I can help monetarily, of course I will, but in any other way. And I believe that. I know that if somebody gave me $1 million and said, I would like to go out tonight, but the only thing we can do is we're going to be doing a bunch of drugs. No, it's not an option. I know that it will end my life. It may not end it that night, but it will end my life. And if there's anything, whatever it is that we know that we want to change it, whether it's the food that we eat, whether we're drinking a little too much, or doing things that are anything. I mean, even things like I've had to really, really, really work on talking about people. That was something that I just did. I was a bartender all these years. It was harmless. I would say, "Oh, you know who's doing what?" And this, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's not good. It's harmful. It's backbiting is what it is. I don't want to judge other people. I have no right to judge them. So I just want to continue. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that my sister used to always pick on me. She would hear me on the phone and say, "Why are you sitting there on the phone talking about other people? What's wrong with you?" And I would say, "Oh, Janine, you're so crazy. I didn't really do that." Yes, I did. I did, and I would tell little lies that I thought were little, and I have a very dear friend on here that has been my friend my whole life that would literally say to me, "Please tell me what we're saying to mama so that I know what we're gonna say." That's how much I would be dishonest, that she would, poor thing, was honest as she is the most honest Abe, and would have to suffer through my little white lies. And my sister called me out as adults and said, "You just gotta stop lying, Tracy." And I would think, well, I'm only doing it to, I don't want to hurt anybody. No, it's ridiculous. So being, I guess, introspective and finding out these things about myself that, when you're in a substance abuse, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Stupor, you're not going to worry about, of course, you're going to lie. Where did you go today? At a notary, mom. I was there all day. Oh, okay. And then, talking about somebody else to kind of reflect off what was going on with me. But once the fog clears, once the brain clears, and once the heart clears, then it's time to do a little accountability check and figure out what's really going on. And that's what I've been doing hardcore for the last 3 years. I mean, really hardcore, but definitely since we lost my sister. And all the things that she said, she was so beautiful and wonderful and brilliant. But she said what she felt and she said the truth. And if something bothered her, she would tell my mom and I, this is how you're behaving, and I don't care for that. And there's not many people in the world that do that. And she did. So I listened to her. I listen to her now. My mom and I tell each other things. My mom knows I'm a little hysterical about my bird. I am definitely a little schizophrenically crazy, and I'm a little neurotic, should I say. So I'm trying to train my brain to calm down. We watched a show yesterday, and I thought this was interesting. They were talking about fear and saying, if you start to feel fear, count to five. Just count to five and release the fear. So I'm going to be doing that if I start feeling like something might happen to my little pineapple, which nothing. And I'm even getting better about that. I'm feeling today I drove home from my class and I was relaxed. I wasn't like trying to rush home to make sure that him and Mandy, our new baby, were okay. So I realized that's all progress. That's all progress. That's all healing. That's what's happening. When we lost Janine, uh, besides our hearts breaking, I got very paranoid that something would happen to my mom if she didn't answer right away. And that still happened till not that long ago. So I'm really working on that. And I think a lot of people that have lost somebody very close to them go through that, where it's this terrible fear that something's going to happen to your remaining loved ones. So it's just a matter of working on that. And I'm grateful every day of my life when I see my mom walk into the kitchen in her little pajamas and, doing what she does. She meditates in the morning. Somebody said, I don't remember who it was, recently said, how do you think your mom stays like she does? And I really thought about it and I said, my mom does every single thing that she possibly can to stay well. And how grateful I could be to have to know that, listen, God has another plan. So if something happens, I understand. But what a way to live, that you spend your time on this earth taking care of yourself every minute of the day so that you can live a healthy and happy life. And that's what she does. So I feel like I need to do that. Well, for her, of course, but for me and for all of you guys, so that I can stay well. No, I really mean that. I'm so grateful for my health, for our health, and to be able to, you know, to help people. It's my pleasure when somebody asks me about the carnivore. They'll say something to me like, "Wow, your skin looks great," or "You've lost weight," and I can say, "All right, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing." And I do watch myself now because I know I can go off for a while on a tangent. But I'm so excited about it because it's something that is helping my health. It's helping our health. If my mom can live another, 30 years, her plan is to live to 107, and she's turning 78 in a month. I'm good with that. I'm wonderful with that. So we have just a minute left, a minute or two. So what I want, something that I do with my students in Ageless Grace is the beginning of the class, I'll take 30 seconds and I'll ask them something which activates the brain, but this time we're going to activate our gratitude. So for 30 seconds, we're all going to think and just say it to ourselves of what we're most grateful for. And I will actually do what I do with them, which is time it. And on your mark, 30 seconds, as many things as you can think, and go. And stop. Are we feeling really grateful? I am. I am. I said a lot of things. I even started talking about the food I was grateful for. So, see, my carnivore food, of course. I just want to thank everybody. I'm so happy to be back on my show again. I've missed it. And this month we have some amazing guests. In a couple of weeks, I have two Ageless Grace trainers. And the end of the month, I have my mother and Denise Medved and another wonderful educator and trainer named Mary Beth. And we're going to do the four of us on a show together. So I thank everybody so much, and I wish everybody a wonderful rest of their evening. Thank you.